to operate only as much service as the county can afford based on revenues from all sources. County, state, federal, and fare box, and therefore cannot meet everyone's needs, but instead must concentrate on putting the service where the need is greatest.
They're counting on the fare box, that's scary. Fare box doesn't even pay for the fuel.
No, it doesn't even cover, I mean.
Sure.
Doesn't even cover the fuel for the day. So that's, in itself is fun.
Well, so the new schedules the new summer schedules, are there any cuts in those summer schedules?
We didn't get to see anything yet, it's just listed. And
There you go.
once they list it, then you get to see what the run does. But that hasn't been posted yet. I know they made a lot of mistakes.
I haven't
And they were sent
seen
back.
any of some of the schedules yet either.
They were sent
Are there
back.
always summer schedules?
Yeah, it goes, you have from January to January to March, the end of March, then it's April, the very first Sunday of April, to June, and then June is like a 2-month pick, and it's a quick pick, and then you have from August or September to December, which is the longest pick, which is 4 months. It's 3, 3, 2, and 4, unless they change it. But like I said, they just posted it today, and it just has all the runs. It doesn't have all the details or anything. So
Today, when I was coming back, I decided to try to go a new way,
I
or
read
at
it.
least use it in 24. I looked on Google Maps, I kind of rely upon it to get me to and from places. So I gave myself a little bit of a try. I noticed when the N24 stuff, I thought I would have enough time for the second one. I thought it was supposed to come at 3:48. No, 2:48.
2
It never did.
Oh.
I saw it next bus leave time.
Never came at all. It never came?
Oh,
And then the
okay.
next bus came after it. I forgot what time it was, 3 something.
That's all.
the people like
And again, it must be attended to. It's in my opinion, he's the catalyst in this matter. So, a lot of it, while if we're going to be inflicting any damage, Nice is on the list, but again, it should also be up there. At least in my opinion.
Nice is just a business that came in and bought something.
I
You
know.
blame them, but really all they did was come in and buy it.
I
Nassau
agree.
County is very fault. They're not, with the MTA, they didn't want to give any money,
Right.
and they're not giving any money with this. They have to stay within $2.6 million. It costs $8.5 to just fuel the buses, and that's just the big buses. That's not counting the fuel for the
Able Ride.
Able Ride. That's another $7.5 million. So you've got what, $16 million, and you're going to do this 2.6?
It is. It is.
Well, it sounds to me like we have a couple of things, going on here. One, we have the situation with Able Ride,
Right.
and you have to find some way to respond to some of the attacks. I think that, we'll talk about that in a second. But then two, we also have in general, the quality of the service, that, we started a petition around, that we're getting some responses, and that's kind of linked to the new schedules that are going to come out in the summer. So
Agreed.
I'm not sure, I would be interested to see if any of these route adjustments that are happening on June 24th constitute service cuts, or if they're just adjustments, and if that's really what they are.
I probably think they'll send you a letter.
I don't, they were going over, they didn't, I asked specifically if there's any cuts. He said he didn't see any, not too many if there was.
Who address?
The union has to go, the shop steward has to go over each route.
Okay.
They have to check it out and make sure that, that's where they found out we didn't have enough, turnaround time, that, there was a stack of mistakes like this. So, at least this time,
Oh, thank you.
at least
Otherwise
this
you
time
can't
they
know.
had the original man that was doing it for the MTA. He was there, but they let this fellow Omar do it, who came from the Wall Street. You have no clue as to how to run a bus, and they wouldn't let the man that did it, or
Well,
the
that's-
kid.
experience.
And
they pushed him aside and let him have nothing to do with it.
Oh,
We had it
yeah.
out, the guy from, Wall Street. And I said to him, I said, when was the last time you drove a bus? You don't need to drive a bus to do that. Yeah, you do. You have to know how much time it takes. Now, because we're private, we no longer can make right turns on the red. So that takes time. So now you have to sit there till the light turns green. So that's a minute, 2 minutes, you're taking off my time. Then you have, how much traffic there is. They don't consider the traffic. You know, and then
That's
going
big.
from, you could be on time on the 22, you can be on time till you get to Post Avenue and Maple. After you leave that, it's one stop after another, one stop after another, and that's where you
There
waste
you
all
go.
your time. So evidently, nobody got on the bus to figure this out, because from there to there, you can't make a time. And from Hicksville to Post Avenue, you lose all your time.
That's a terrible mistake
So
ever.
people just looked at schedules like in the abstract.
Yeah, and most of the schedules from the MTA were antiquated to start, they were 40 years old. You know, and today, everybody has 5 cars in their house. Years ago, it was only one,
Yeah.
so you're putting, you know, a
Putting-
lot of cars out
Putting
there.
it at risk.
A lot of people have bought cars just because they can't be bothered with the buses.
So do you guys think that we should do some kind of an action based on, you know, what disabled passengers are doing? Should we like, I think that if we could get some research that shows
Yes,
how
I
many
think
lifts
so.
aren't working,
I'll see what I can do.
that would be really helpful.
Unfortunately, I don't ride Able Ride, but you do. But you do, Janet.
Yes, I do. I ride Able Ride a lot.
I have their lifts.
I go to ACLD to see Lori, and I also go to take a ride to my mom, like once a month.
You know, my sister works for MHA. I was telling Anita that she should get in touch with them because they've been writing letters as well. Because their passengers take Able Ride and regular buses and they're having a rough time. So I told her to get in touch with them, and I'm trying to get my sister to find out who you would get in touch with to, because this is a mental health association, and they have the homes, and they have the building where people go back and forth to do classes and stuff, and they're having a lot of trouble getting their buses and their Able Ride to come on time. So.
It's hard.
And it's not fair, because, you know, for me, it's easy, I hop in my car and I go. But if you
that's
don't
a lot
have
of
that,
people.
but I remember when I was a kid and I didn't have a car, I had to hop the bus. I went into the city, I had to take 2 buses and a train to get to work. No, a bus and 2 trains.
Bus and 2 trains.
But it's still, I remember living in Queens, you have to depend, if you can't depend on your system, what's the point?
What part of Queens?
I was from Flushing.
Oh, Flushing, Queens.
You use J train or any of the other trains or buses?
I don't get, I used to use the 7 and the RR.
You double R?
Double R. Oh, okay.
Oh wow, that's a long time ago. I remember the K, the double J, not so much the double J, but the BQ line. There were like a number of letters and numbers back then. I remember.
You're right.
But then they simplified it. What is
David.
BQ, double J, K,
Well, the B&Q still runs, but.
yeah, BQ, but it used to be called the BQ. You know.
Oh, they eliminated the beat. Ugh.
Well,
So would a press conference or something, if we had that kind of research, would that be something that people would want to see and people would be willing to speak at?
the question is possible, but like you said before, we don't exactly trust certain state news 12 you said there was a problem with?
I think it was it CBS or?
Well, which stations did you say, or newspapers did you have trouble with?
I don't think I said that. We've been able to get most of our materials in the papers.
Yeah, all right then. But yeah, we should do a press conference then. Invite a lot of the major stuff, whoever will listen.
Yeah, Alphonse, I talked to him, I've talked to him many times.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
It's at the transit meeting, the transit committee.
All right.
yeah. I mean,
I feel bad for this guy.
but also, as a minor note, this we're good, but we're still gonna be facing problems trying to convince people that prioritizing mass transit is the way to go. Particularly with, I've seen a lot of nasty comments, people who,
In the newsday comment
Right.
section, yeah, there are a lot of nasty comments.
but there are also some supporters.
And I remember yeah, one of the bus drivers, and able like was doing a clinic shuttle,
Oh.
and when they had the meeting in clinic,
In Great Neck?
Oh my God, great.
no, and in the February meeting, there was the one driver.
Where they were telling you what they were doing, not asking your
No,
approval.
Pro.
No, and able, and able like was he using for a shuttle bus.
I remember that, because I took it from the train station
Yeah.
to, yeah, I remember that.
There's
And then I didn't I didn't post the post it up at the a special shuttle.
Well, they had both. They had the big buses and they had the Able Ride, but I think so few people showed up to the Great Neck meeting. The
Okay.
Great Neck meeting was mainly Veolia employees.
Yeah,
And like a
me
few
and
people,
Stephanie.
Charlene and I.
Was that last one the great
Because they're
meeting?
rich, they don't care.
Right, it was like.
They don't need the buses,
It was
but
the worst
their
place to have the meeting.
domestic health doesn't need their buses.
No.
Stop with
You know-
domestic health and you'll see how fast they
Yeah,
scream.
yeah, no.
You're right, you just took the words out of my mouth.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's also like, for the Able Ride situation, they are contractually, like, mandated to not have any cuts to the Able Ride service. So if their rerouting actually constitutes cuts to the service, and if their, quote unquote, new efficient measures are really resulting in 3-hour wait times and 4-hour wait times for people, or 4-hour commutes, then regardless of what they're trying to call it, it is a service cut and they're in violation of their contract.
And possibly in violation of federal.
Right,
law.
and that's why I'm asking with Cindy, like, how many of these wheelchair lifts aren't working? Because anytime somebody goes to take a bus and they're in a wheelchair and they can't get on that bus, that's an ADA violation.
Agreed. If we can figure out
Now,
what.
you want big bus, because I don't deal with Able Ride.
Yeah, just the big
buses.
The big buses, because even people in wheelchairs are still able to take those buses, and that's an ADA regulation, they have to have access to the
That's what you hear a lot. Anita and I, when we were at Hempstead, talking to riders, and Anita has some of the documentation on it, because
Right.
we were writing things down. I know on the N15 to Long Beach, a woman talked about the lifts breaking down almost routinely, and the second bus happens to come, and everyone happens to get off the first bus, wait for the second bus, and then.
Buses, there's no cost to the day. They say
That's
they have
all.
no
Now
money.
there's no
This-
park?
This
I'm
is
sorry,
like
Bobby.
when it was Medicine before the MTA came in. When the
I'm not
MTA
sorry.
came in, buses were running really good. And if the lift was off, it would go out of the property. It'd go off the property. But here, everything's breaking down. You see 3 or 4 buses a day
That's
going
terrible.
down, and just in the directions I'm going.
Service, there's no service? There are no service workers, or not enough?
It's like a ghost job here at Wesleyan. They only have from having a lot of mechanics to like maybe 50.
That could be a good thing for what we have to do.
Yeah, I mean, do you have the figures on that now, like how many mechanics they used to have versus how many mechanics they currently have?
I can find that out.
That would be great, because if we could compare that, like, they've, lessened the number of mechanics they have, and in addition, the result of that.
The result of no maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, there's no, you can't, I mean, the mechanics can maintain them if you have
The part.
the parts. It's like giving a chef, telling a chef to make a dinner.
Without
saying,
the-
here's your frying pan. There's no food. You know what I mean?
That's just basic
Yeah.
stupidity right there. You know,
But they have money for the cameras, but I heard they got that from the grant.
The camera?
Cameras. They put cameras in all buses.
Oh my God.
Huh.
Oh, really?
That's
For
basically in
security
case,
reasons?
yeah, because when I worked on Saturday, Sunday with the, not Saturday, Sunday, when I did the games, I spoke to second in command, and I said, a lot of people want to know, are you doing this to get the seniors fired?
Mhm.